We all know that real estate investing is one of the most reliable ways to build long-term wealth and financial freedom. But for the average person, getting started can be very difficult. And finding the required cash down can be almost impossible for many people when they're getting started. So how about a unique way to finance your first deal and start you on your path to success? And no rich uncle is required. All this and more in today's video. Hello and welcome to Stephen Carlson Show. I'm Stephen Carlson. I'm a tech entrepreneur, real estate investor, author, YouTuber, paramedic, and Bonnie and Clyde are currently doing as normal. They're eating carrots. Speaking of Clyde, he hasn't been well lately and he goes into surgery next week. Fingers crossed everything works and he heals up and he's back to running around soon. Now, before I get started, I know that I haven't really been active here on YouTube for the last few weeks. Sorry about that. I have been so busy planning the upcoming Open for Business tour, which is just over a month away. Make sure you register your business so you can be featured. More about that in a bit. Now let's get to the core of the video. How to use credit cards strategically to invest in real estate. Now make sure you stay to the very end of the video because there are a couple of extremely important things that you must realize when using your credit cards. If you mess these up, you will completely blow your entire real estate deal. As a general statement, you're not technically supposed to use credit cards to purchase real estate. Or more specifically, you're not technically supposed to use these credit cards to finance the down payment at closing. Remember, the purpose of the down payment is to prove that you have some of your own money in the deal. This is usually referred to as skin in the game. And the concept is that you are less likely to let the property go into disrepair or foreclosure if you have some of your own money tied up in it. With this in mind, no closing company is going to let you come to the closing table and use credit cards to finance this. There is a certain amount of money you must bring there in cash. And this is usually either in the form of a wire from your bank account directly to the title company, or it's a certified cashier's check from the bank. But there are some exceptions. The very first thing to realize is there's a difference between closing costs and your down payment. The down payment is the skin in the game and is required by most loans. And this varies depending on the type of loan. It might be 3.5%, it might be 5%, 10%, 15%, etc. And this is of the purchase price of the property. Then, on top of this, you have thousands of dollars in closing costs, which is usually your insurance, your appraisal, your home inspection, notary fees, overnight FedEx or UPS fees, etc. Now these fees vary based upon property to property, but kind of $3,000 to $5,000 is usually the ballpark. And the best part is some of these can be paid with your credit card before closing and it's not a violation of the rules. In fact, depending on the situation, inspections and appraisals are required to be paid ahead of time before closing. This is usually a few weeks before closing. And many of them will let you pay this with a credit card because it's the quickest way for them to get paid. But what's less common is you can also prepay your annual homeowner's insurance expense with your credit card. Now, depending on your area, the value of the property, and your risk profile, this may be $1,000 to $3,000 per year. Just make sure that at the end, the bank sets up escrow for next year's payment. That way you're not caught off guard with a lump sum bill due and you weren't expecting it. While not required in all transactions, sometimes your documents need to be overnighted back and forth for signatures. Title companies are notorious for overcharging you the FedEx and UPS fees in these cases. In one of my recent deals, the title company wanted to charge me $250 to overnight a couple documents. No thanks. Instead, I provided them my own prepaid FedEx label, and I only paid about $50 to overnight the documents. You can open your own free FedEx or UPS account on their website. Put in your credit card and you can be generating prepaid labels in just a few minutes. Now, just be careful. Even if you provide your label to the title company, they may still try and charge you their $250 or whatever amount. In my case, they still billed me the $250 at closing, and I had to argue with them to take it off. Why am I paying their overnight fee when they used my label and I already paid FedEx? Alright, so far we've knocked off, say, $1,000, maybe $3,000 of cash that you need at the closing table. But honestly, that really hasn't touched the highest upfront cost yet of your down payment. This next tip only works if you have at least 90 days before closing. If you're already in escrow to purchase a property, sorry, this tip will not work for you. Most credit card companies allow you to take a cash advance. giving you cold hard cash, cold hard cash in your bank account today, all at a fixed rate. And many offer either 0 or very low interest for 1, maybe 2 years. But there are a few catches to this strategy. The first one is the credit card company usually will limit the amount of money that you can take out. Maybe you have a $20,000 limit, but they're only going to let you take some of that. It might be $5,000, $8,000, maybe $10,000. Anything above that, they will not let you take out as cash advance. Just completely depends on the credit card company. So depending on your situation, maybe that is enough to come up with your down payment, or you might have to string together 2 or 3 credit cards to get the amount. Or you also have options from third-party companies like Plastic, which allow you to access the rest of your credit card balance and they will give you cash. Of course, there's fees for this, and they're not a sponsor, but they seem to work fairly well if it's something you need and if you're in a pinch. Now, if cash advances only take a day or 2 to post to your account, why did I say you need 90 days? This is the important part you must understand. Because when you go to underwriting for your mortgage, the bank will demand a minimum of 3 months bank statements. Any large deposits in those 3 months must be explained. And they will not let you use any borrowed money as your down payment. Now, any money you've had in your account before those 3 months is considered seasoned, and you usually do not have to justify it. Now, of course, if you have a $10 an hour job and magically you have $50,000 or $100,000 in cash in your bank account, they may ask for 4 months or 5 months. They want to know where that money came from. So don't be stupid when you do your cash advance. Do it as an amount that you could easily say, yeah, I saved this. But of course, don't lie. If they ask where that money came from, just say it's been in my account. If they ask, did you use a cash advance, you must tell them the truth. Now, the most important tip by far, do not use your personal credit cards. Let me repeat this. Do not, under any circumstance, use personal credit cards to finance these deals. Why? Because the lender will pull your credit and they're going to see that you've maxed out all your credit cards. And ultimately, this will kill your credit score. The only way that these tips that I have suggested will work is for you to use business credit cards that do not report to your personal credit report. Thankfully, business credit cards are pretty easy to get started, even if your personal credit is kind of less than perfect. In fact, I have a ton of videos on how this works. Just search YouTube for Stephen Carlson Show Business Credit. If you use these tips strategically, you can easily put $15,000 to $20,000 down on a property and cover most of your closing costs all on business credit cards. Now, before I let you go, I do have one more bonus tip for you. There are little known secrets that you can use at the closing table that can get the bank to foot a lot of these expenses for you as well. Why don't you check out the video I'm going to link down below showing you how you can get the bank to cover most of these costs for you. Also, don't forget to check out the website, www.open4.business, and register your business today. As you already know, this is my small business awareness campaign, where myself, along with guest appearances from Aubrey Janik, Jamel Gibbs, Minority Mindset, Investment Joy, Rod Squad, Kenny Keller, Mark Moss, Christina Tia, Fire Department Coffee, Diane Crump, Larry Ross, food blogger Kylie from Kylie Really Loves Food, Air Force Major C.W. Lemoyne, better known as Mover, and others will be flying around the country in a helicopter, landing at various businesses, interviewing them, talking about their strategies of what has worked and what hasn't during the pandemic. Now, our flight plan's pretty much locked, so if we really can't alter it much, but if your business is near where we're going to be, why don't you come out and check us out? Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure to click like and subscribe. Doing so really helps YouTube algorithm. I can't talk. It's been a long day already, but it helps with the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate it. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next one.